Three Purple Hearts, a Bronze Star, marksman status, 33 years of age, left behind a 2.5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old with his wife to go off and fight a war. His coffin flag sits on the mantle in my home, along with those precious medals. The man is my grandfather, part of that greatest generation, or what we call the greatest generation, that fought World War II and died in World War II. As he already had 2 Purple Hearts, he was in the final push to get the Germans out in April of 1945, and a mortar round blew him in half. So he paid the ultimate price to protect the freedoms of this country. Our history is aligned with bloodshed that's flowed to protect our precious freedoms, and those freedoms are bound in a document called the United States Constitution. And many would say that's probably the greatest single document ever penned by human hand, next to the good book, if you're so inclined to practice religion, and that would be the Bible. Our Constitution is one of the most widely read documents in the world. And those civil liberties that are contained in the Bill of Rights guarantee us freedoms like no other nation has ever had on the face of this earth. It's also made us the most prosperous nation in the history of the world. Other countries envy us, others want to be like us, others hate us for the freedom that we allow each person in this country to have. Men and women die every day to protect those freedoms. We're in several wars and in several theaters of war right now, fighting to protect those freedoms. People in uniform every day on American soil, law enforcement, first responders, as we saw September 11th, as we saw April the 19th, 1995, when domestic terrorist Timothy McVeigh committed his act on a federal building. There's people always ready to answer the call. But a call that you have to answer as a citizen is, at what price freedom? At what price do you balance those precious freedoms in the Constitution that men and women have fought and died for since the inception of this country, since 1776? How do you balance those freedoms while still maintaining a safe and secure society? Other countries have certain logistical advantages, like the nation of Israel. The fact that Israel fights for its very existence every day is nothing short of phenomenal. But they don't have 330 some odd million people, and they don't have the sea to shining sea that we have here in the United States of America. And they don't have the United States Constitution. For 20 years of my life, I've been a practicing law enforcement professional and risk my neck every day to defend those precious liberties. I can tell you that would I enjoy absolute authority and power to do whatever I wanted to do to keep my homeland safe? Part of me would say, well, that might be a thought that you would entertain for a split second. But the other part of me looks back to that mantle in my home, and I look at that triangular folded flag sitting on that mantle, and I look at the picture that's next to it, and I look over at the Bronze Star and the 3 Purple Hearts, and I remember the price that was paid to protect those freedoms in the United States Constitution. And I remember seeing every day in the news media the recent Congressional Medal of Honor winners that have paid the ultimate price for their valor to protect those freedoms. I say we must continue to fight a vigilant fight and have thoughtful, meaningful discussions and debate, as that's the founding of our Constitution. There is not necessarily one best way except the free way. And I mean not the highway, but the free way that's outlined in the Constitution that gives us our liberties. Our founding fathers intended for us to have a vigorous debate. And these are very contentious times with a lot of differing political ideologies. Regardless of the side of the fence that you fall on, always come down and always be on the side of freedom and protecting your freedom. Because once freedom is gone, it's gone forever.